All right, Lucy, silence. Welcome, everybody, to Ranger Nation Radio, presented by AFC Urgent Care, the right care right now. Tim Wood, Bill Bryant, and you. A little late on Thursday night, a little late in terms of the week. I forgot I had practice tonight, so that's why we're a little later.
I get the bags under the eyes, Tim. I'm usually in bed by now.
I know. I dropped some stuff off to you before practice, and you were looking a little sleepy then, but you've rebounded.
Yep.
A little caffeine?
I am drinking a cup of coffee a day now.
Ah, okay.
I have not drank coffee for 37 and a half years, and I've decided, based on what I'm reading, a cup a day.
Honestly, it really there is.
No,
everything comes around. Everything good is bad, but I mean coffee. I was told that I was never a coffee drinker, and I was told I've always had migraines, and I was having some issues. I had some issues with my ankle, so I went to PT for it, and when I was at PT. The physical therapist, she swore by it. She swore by the coffee, like 1 cup a day, and I swear you won't have migraines. And
well, they're talking Alzheimer's, they're talking certain cancers, and so I'm not doing all the triple sugar latte, double triple. Vanilla, caramel, fudge with sprinkles.
Just a cup of coffee.
Just a cup of coffee.
Yeah. Yep. No, I'm still not a huge coffee guy, but I get a little French vanilla, fat-free coffee mate. Big fan of that. The fat-free liquid. It's good. Coffee Mate's not a sponsor, but I'm a fan.
But it's still 10-9, Ranger Nation. We're on, and
there you go.
And a lot of good stuff going on this week. A lot of good stuff last week, and
we still have a game in action tonight.
Yep, 23 seconds left. Tie score 1-1, and Mr. Bryant is sporting his new Ranger Nation Radio shirt. Thank you, Tim.
Very, very smexy. Very, very nice.
Very comfortable.
Thank you to DJ's Custom Clothing. They always do a nice job on the whatchamacallit and the who's what on the shirts and the jackets. So hit them up over in the Executive Park Plaza there off of, what is that road?
Pleasant Valley?
That's Pleasant Valley.
Yeah, I think so.
Pleasant
Street.
I think it's just Pleasant Street. Yeah. It's very pleasant.
It is. Especially when you're getting really nice shirts like this.
Exactly.
To wear.
And by the way, if you would like a MVC Sports Today or a Ranger Nation Radio shirt, hit us up on the Twitter or on the comments, and we'll tell you how.
These are going to be popular. You're going to be popping around in these.
It's a very nice shirt. I'm a huge fan of the it's Sport Tech. It does a nice job with the shirts, like wicking and.
Yeah. Hey, breaking news.
Yes.
Regulation over. 1-1 tie. We're going to overtime. MHS.
Going to the non-overtime.
Non-winning, losing overtime.
Hey, I like it. I like exposing. I like the concept of exposing these guys to overtime so they're ready come tournament time. I just wish they were a little clearer on, do the stats count? In any comparison, does the point count? Does the if you win in overtime, does it count for the state? Does everybody just get I know everybody at least gets a point, but it's like if they could have just been a little clearer. That's all. I like it though.
I agree.
And around the league, I've heard mixed reactions. I've heard a lot of I don't want to play 5 more minutes. Like I'm not used to doing that on a regular basis.
And especially if you're Zach Alfonso, Methuen High School senior, golfer, and lacrosse player, you're also not thrilled with the 5-minute overtime because you've stood in your head for the last 3 periods, only letting up 1 goal. So that's the report coming out of the ice rink at Methuen High School, is Zach has been standing on his head, stopping almost every shot except one, which is why they're in a deadlock 1-1 tie. So hopefully they can squeeze it out and give Zach the win.
I'll tell you, our goalies have been phenomenal. James Trussell, Alfonso, Kaya Hollingsworth is on a shutout roll here for. You knew it was going to happen. She hadn't had any shutouts, in the first few games, and she's had 3 shutouts, I believe, in the last 4 games.
Well, it's helping now that the offense for the Lady Red Rangers are keeping the ice on the other end.
Yes.
Our offense was struggling a little bit, so there was a lot of zone time in front of Kaya's net, which you can't stop every shot. You'd like to, but it's not feasible.
Red Rangers have outscored their opponents 10-2 in the last 4 games, and so they
I
are
like
definitely.
seeing Coach Terry's tweet too. Like, hey, let's not kid ourselves. We're playing all top D1 schools across the state of Massachusetts.
Yeah.
We don't have any more cream puff games anymore. So us losing a couple games in the manner that we are is A-okay, because we're getting better and we're building towards playoffs. We're going to make the playoffs and we're going to go deep.
Our favorite multi-co-op school, HPNA, they had the target set for Methuen-Tewksbury, and it was a 2-2 tie that we won in overtime. The Red Rangers had a 2-0 lead on them. Let the lead get away, but rebounded well and ended up getting the win. The win in overtime.
Well, what a nice way though for a team that had been struggling, that lost a lot, to have a team that's that stacked. Haverhill, Pentucket, North Andover, those 3 towns, that they're a stacked, not stacked, but they're a lot of talent on that team. Circled the calendar and ended up losing. You know what I mean? Like that's a nice billboard material for Methuen-Tewksbury to say, hey, this team's been eyeing us all year. We've just been doing our job, one team at a time, and ended up beating them in OT.
And we got a couple bonus interviews. We have an interview every week on the show with a Methuen star. We also do a bunch of interviews for MVC Sports Today, and we've been trying to do as many interviews with the weekly sports. We do a poll for every sport, a Twitter poll for every sport. 4 candidates every week for an MVP of the week, much like we did with football. We tried it with the winter sports. It's worked out phenomenal, and Methuen-Tewksbury's been owning the girls hockey vote. So we did a couple bonus interviews that you can see. We've already run the Jessica Driscoll interview. Hey, Dave DePalma. Hey, Sid Harris. We already ran the Jessica Driscoll interview, which, listen, tough. I mean, listen, that's a tough thing. Okay, I just don't think in those terms. Like, I watch these girls play, and it just completely. Before I was thinking about the interview, I wasn't even thinking of her brother. I was not even thinking of and I'll tell you, there's questions I had to ask, and she handled it phenomenal. You can tell that the family is healing through hockey. They did a phenomenal job with the Memorial game earlier in the season. And she mentioned that his wake, I mean, they had over 3,000 people there, and I mean, it is amazing.
Really, two communities, Tewksbury and Central.
Absolutely. I mean, and it's amazing just to time and again how the sports community supports each other. and comes out in the good times, the bad times. And I encourage you to watch the Jessica Driscoll interview. You know, she's a sophomore, and you know, I hit her with some tough stuff. She's obviously had to handle a lot of a lot more than your average sophomore in life.
Yeah.
But has a great outlook. Has turned the corner. Is able to talk and laugh about Ryan and laugh about the good memories, laugh about the competitiveness that they have. She always had a kind of a goal competition with Ryan. Now one of the members of the central team, Jake Doucette, kind of picked up that ball and challenged her to a goal competition this season. So I encourage you that, you know, both those girls are not, huh?
No, just that's kind of an emotional thing.
Yeah,
my hairs
it
just
was
kind of standing up.
You know, as a father, as a younger brother, you know, 3 older sisters, I was having a tough time keeping it together, and she was just phenomenal. So I highly encourage. Now, you know, Jessica, Lydia Pendleton, both Tewksbury girls, but they're part of the family. You know, They're part of Ranger Nation as members of the Red Rangers.
I really dig this whole, you know, couple of these sports having 2 towns. It does so much as far as bringing communities together and things like that. Tim, I would be remiss not to just talk about real quick, you know, talking about Driscoll and the fundraiser and the sister, you know, in Methuen we have our own Ashley St. Ange road race.
Yeah.
This year will be year 3, and it just – it's not only an amazing event, but knowing mom and dad, I don't know the son, or you know, Ashley's brother. Well, he's off in college.
Phenomenal.
Jacob. No, I know he's a great kid. I just don't know him personally very well. But just seeing over the past 2 years, the first year I was just in awe of the whole race and just pulling that off.
The effort
and last year
to pull it off, yeah.
Yeah. Last year, honestly, I for whatever reason, I focused more on just watching how incredibly not grateful, but just overwhelmed mom and dad were that they were able to just kind of spread the love of their daughter and things like that. So you talk about those little events, but it's the year-long things. It's the support, because as a dad, man, I just can't even fathom, you know, the tragedy people must feel.
It doesn't go away.
No, it doesn't. But to have a community wrap around and all of their close friends starting something like that and doing that, the butterflies that represent that, and I was able to be on the real outskirts of that and just see some of the things. It's just amazing. So for a sophomore in high school to lose her brother and to be able to speak about that, that's tough. That is tough.
I mean, we talk a lot about how sports teaches life lessons, and I think it also you have a camaraderie, you have a brotherhood, a sisterhood, you know, an instant family. So many of the folks the athletes that we talk to, both for Ranger Nation Radio, all across the MVC, for MVC Sports Today, they always talk about that, how they're making relationships for life, they're learning disciplines, life lessons that, you know, make that a lot of times you don't want to learn them, but I think. Even when we do the alumni interviews, we especially hear in the alumni interviews just the things they learned playing youth sports, and you know, this is something I just as a parent I can't fathom it. I can't, you know, but to persevere.
Tim, why should I'm setting you up a little bit. You and I haven't talked about this, and I have kind of an answer because I've had 2 pretty in-depth conversations with some folks about MVC today and why you're, you know, the focus of Ranger Nation, and people kind of got the MVC football, but I don't think they really did as the reason why we're covering and interested in Billerica and Tewksbury and Chelmsford and Andover and all the MVC teams. But some people, why would a Methuen person benefit from listening to two girls, a girl from Drayton or a girl from Chelmsford, as far as, them getting voter, a vote of the week or player of the week? Why would someone from Methuen or another town want to listen to a young kid? I mean,
I think it plays out in every interview. It always amazes me just these kids are so mature and there's a universal message in what they're learning and what they're preaching in terms of how to be student athletes, how to achieve that student athlete balance. And plus the conference is tough, and I think people, as much as we focus in on our own city, people want to be informed about the whole conference. We have two papers within the conference. You have the Tribune, who's phenomenal covering local sports, but they cover a specific area. They don't cover the whole MVC. You have the Sun, who covers the I like to call it like the exit 40 and below part of the MVC, but they're not running box scores anymore. They've cut way back on their youth sports coverage. So and they pretty much just cover one part of that part of the valley. So
Tim, they used to do Pup Warner scores.
Yeah.
And they're cutting back on high school stuff. But I had a couple of conversations with some different people, and the what you're missing on it is it's great to have a Methuen girl and talking about weekly, but we're now throwing kids across the Merrimack Valley, the competition, and I find the more you get to know athletes and student athletes, the more you're going to want to get off your butt, get off your couch, and say, you know what, I want to go see this game this week.
You create that connection.
And I saw a girl on a video that I made my daughter watch because my daughter wants to be a gymnast, or my daughter wants to be, and I don't care the kids from Methuen, but I'm going to want to go to that match. And they were like, I never thought of that. And I'm like, it's gone from just Methuen, which Ranger Nation is all Methuen, but the other shows, these kids are connecting through being on MVC Gridiron or MVC Today. And I think if you're not catching on to that, you will soon, because the student athletes are. Yeah. They're getting to know each other.
We had Bill, we had 2,300 votes on a gymnastics MVP this week.
Yeah, and the kids are getting to know who each other are, and it's less negative tweets going back and forth. It's, I caught you on the show, that was cool, or you gave me a shout out. And I'm hoping you and I have been talking about a sponsor that's going to be coming soon that's in a lot more alignment of what you're doing with your shows with Gridiron and Merrimack Valley and bringing these.
I think and just from a business perspective, the valley in terms of the drivability between all these schools, a Methuen restaurant is going to draw from across the valley. There's tons of Methuen businesses and Billerica businesses that are drawing all across the valley. You want more than just your townies to come you're supporting all the athletes of the conference, which is a great thing. I think. Listen, we were very, the football has worked great. We've done great with it for 2 years. I really had this goal of expanding it, and I was nervous and skeptical in terms of just how logistically we'd pull it off, how it would be received. It's been so well received. All these sports that are, the sports beyond basketball, they're all loving the extra coverage, the extra exposure. And I think what I've heard from coaches, what I've heard from parents is there's a level of information now because all the coaches are sending in box scores again. And so I've got boys and girls hoops leaders from across the MVC, whereas you just get the area from the Tribune, for instance. So, there's a new level of information. Everybody wants that little extra edge in terms of information, and a lot of that information was just kind of in little compartments between.
Who are they going to give it to?
Go ahead. What'd you say?
No, who are they going to give it to?
Exactly, and that's the thing. Because the papers weren't running box scores, the papers have cut way back on the coverage. It's like the coaches. I don't blame them. It's like why would I send this anywhere? Nobody's running it.
Right.
So, and we're reporting the scores. We're keeping track of the leaders. If you could, I gotta share you on this. My spreadsheet for the winter sports is just jam packed and overflowing. I've got every score, every goal, every hoop scored, every point scored in every sport so far, and that's a huge testament to the coaches and just all the parents through Twitter that are filling in some of the gaps. It's been a lot of fun. So I'll get off my horse there.
I didn't want to sidetrack us, but like I said, those were some Methuen conversations. And when I talked about, as a parent, don't miss the boat. If you have young kids, get them off Twitter, get them off TikTok for 5 minutes, and stop watching these internet sensation people that are like dragging themselves on cars and giving away money, and watch a teenager that lives, in your town or 10 minutes away and talking about, having a 12-hour day and working out, eating right, and studying, and the time management balance, and going to college, and 3 sport athletes, and I'm also
and just
doing
the
a
fun
cancer
stuff you learn about them. I mean, it's like you said, you create these personal connections beyond just your own town that make it more interesting. I think it's it's. In a way, it's like fantasy football. It's like fantasy football has created this league-wide fandom where we're concerned about a lot more teams now because you're tracking their stats, and
right.
In a way, it's the same way. You see an interview, like you said, Bill. You see an interview with I Alcazar from Drake It, which again, phenomenal player and again only a sophomore, but wise beyond her years. It was a great, fun interview. And then all of a sudden you start having a little bit more of a personal interest in when all these teams play each other, and makes it more fun when you go out to the games.
So I have, before we get back to our Methuen stuff, I have one recommendation of a MVC Sports Today interview. I would love to see the 2 Fleming boys.
Yeah.
With mom and dad.
Yeah.
So now you're talking guy from Lawrence, lives in Tewksbury. Mom lives in Tewksbury, still there. She's in education. You got 2 brothers who are football players competing. I think that interview would be
all right.
Well watched, because you got Lawrence. She's I think an administrator at Whittier. So you got so much crossover. Never mind the fact that I think it would be hilarious, because they are all good people, great people, but characters, and they're pretty well known, and their 2 boys are rocking it. So
I take requests. I will make that happen. I love it. Yeah, and Pat's having a great great wrestling season. So yeah, absolutely.
Which is good, because his brother had a really, really good football season towards the end. And Danny kind of I don't say stole the thunder, but if I'm the brother, I'm talking crap to my older brother, like, hey, I had a much better football season than you, and giving him crap. So now Patrick's rocking it in wrestling, which is awesome to see.
So we've got an interview later in the show. He's on fire beyond the 3-point line, and just in general, the Rangers boys hoops team is 5-5, on a little bit of a roll, starting to kind of find, and as you'll hear in the interview, they feel like they're finding a flow and a chemistry. And Mitchell Crowe has been on fire for the Rangers. 37 points against Greater Lawrence, 25, I believe, the other night in their win. So we
little disappointed with him though, Tim.
Yeah,
I am.
How so?
He gets this awesome Ranger Nation Radio T-shirt, AFC Urgent Care on the back. Where was the smile?
I know, it's kind of. Maybe he was worn out from the interview. I'll cut him some slack. I grilled him, so we'll cut him some slack that he was worn out after the interview.
All right. Well, I'm asking for a retake. I want another.
You want a smile, right?
I want a smile. God, you're a high school kid. You're hitting threes like crazy. Why aren't you smiling?
Life is good, man. Life is good. Yeah, show off the pearlies.
It's gonna end.
Show up, and there's another sponsor that we're working on is a dentist. Got to show off those pearly whites.
Absolutely.
So to just put a bow on what we've been talking about, as low as $25 a week. Get your banner across the bottom. Where am I? My hands where? Right here. Right down there. Yeah, right down there. Across the bottom. A commercial during our breaks. And we'll just listen. We promote the heck out of our sponsors. We love our sponsors.
Never mind the fact that when you and I are out at these events, all I talk about are the shows, and during the shows and off shows is the folks that sponsor us.
Yeah.
The folks that are taking care of us, and AFC is always number one.
Yep, absolutely. So we'll talk to Mitchell a little later. We'll talk. We'll take a quick break here. Want to talk about what's happening with the boosters. A very cool addition to the Methuen sports scene that we'll talk about right after the break.
Three additions.
Huh?
Actually, there's three different
additions. All right, even better tease. We'll do that right after the break. We'll talk about all the sports in Rangers Nation. Do that right after this here on Ranger Nation Radio, presented by AFC Urgent Care. Let me just make sure I got the commercial. Right, the right care right now. Big shout out to the folks at AFC Urgent Care, Lisa Williams and her team over there. AFC Urgent Care, the right care right now. You'll never need an appointment. Got that persistent cough and cold, that cut that needs a few stitching, or need a sports physical and don't want to wait weeks to get into your primary doctor? AFC's streamlined approach helps you be seen quickly and feel better fast. In Methuen, in the Merrimack Street Medical Professionals Building, 380R Merrimack Street, in North Andover as well, in the Burton Grill Plaza, 8 to 8 Monday to Friday, 8 to 5 Saturday and Sunday. Go to afcurgentcare.com for more details. If you're looking for the freshest food with the fastest service in the Valley, look no further than Country Kitchen. Country Kitchen has been the breakfast spot of choice for Methuenites for more than 4 decades. Lynn, her son Eric, and the entire team at Country Kitchen continue to serve breakfast favorites with the friendliest service around. Eric's lunch specialties change daily, anything from American chop suey to meatloaf, chicken pot pie, local faves like chicken barbs, to a Friday seafood menu that features haddock fish and chips that, trust me folks, it is the best in the Merrimack Valley, if not all of New England. Whether you're a regular or a first-time guest, the crew at Country Kitchen can't wait to see you. Come check them out today. They are in the heart of downtown, 18 Hampshire Street in Methuen. Check them out online on Facebook at The Country Kitchen on Facebook. The fastest service in the Valley. Country Kitchen, a proud supporter of Ranger Nation Radio and the sponsor of the Methuen Rangers Football Report on MVC Gridiron Weekly. Back here on Ranger Nation Radio, presented by AFC Urgent Care, Tim Wood, Bill Bryant, and you here on a giving you every camera angle. There we go. Here on a Thursday evening in the Merrimack Valley. Thursdays on the winter sports calendar, typically somewhat slow, kind of burning off some makeup games. You usually have some hockey. We had one hockey game tonight with the boys hockey team, a 1-1 tie against Cambridge. That leaves the boys hockey team at 2-5-3, in solid shape. You know, they hit a little bit of a skid right after Christmas. Had a nice bounce back game against Newton South, a league game. Lost against Beverly, a tie tonight against Cambridge. Gets them a point within the league, within the MVC DCL. So, good things ahead for them. They're at Weymouth on the 25th. That's their next showdown. So, Bill, in terms of we mentioned it before the break, some cool things added to the Methuen sports arsenal. What's up with the boosters and the MAIC?
So, obviously, Tim, you talked last show, the boosters joined forces with the Dennis Bistany golf tournament last year, and it was very successful. Around $22,000 was raised off that one event. So a lot of uniforms, a lot of things, but also, we did some fundraising over the fall season with the football team. We were doing the lotto board each and every week in lieu of a 50-50 raffle. So we were making some good donations there and making it fun and changing it up. So real quick, the wrestlers got new uniforms this year. Those aren't uniforms that you can hang on to for 7, 8, 9, 10 years. It's pretty nasty. They're a unique set of uniforms, so you do have to change those out. And the wrestling, kind of struggled with us coming in. They had such a real strong parent group of volunteers that kind of they did their own thing, and we're slowly but surely showing all of the sports across the high school that it's a joint effort, and that every year you don't need new stuff, but other sports do that don't have the following and don't have the numbers. So if the boosters kind of like gets all the parents together and we run all the concessions, we can kind of work cooperatively with the AD Matt Curran and kind of hand out some love, but also do what I'm going to talk about next. We purchased what they call an end zone camera. And this is a tripod that is, I believe, Pam, how tall? About 25, 30 feet high. So it's your HD camera. It's what coaches want to see. It's what all Spygate's about, things like that. It's an angle that makes it really, really good for coaches to break down their own players, linemen, blocks, cuts, movements, but also other teams as well. It just gives the coaches a really, really different, unique training, coaching perspective. So obviously, Tom Ryan and the football team and parents this year did some serious fundraising and were a big part of the 50-50. So in the fall, that's going to be a huge piece for them. But you also have the spring sports that happen at the stadium as well. So another team will be able to use that end zone camera and really benefit from just breaking things down. So that was one of the purchases.
So you've got an end zone camera. Is that mounted or is it just on a gigantic tripod?
So it's on a gigantic tripod. So it is movable. So you can go at halftime and move it to the other end zone. So, or each quarter, depending on the game you're playing, things like that. So, but it goes right to an iPad. So there is some live, there is some film breakdown immediately that's going to really benefit on the spot. So coaches are really excited. It was easy, Tim, with the Friday night dinners and all this stuff was going on. The football team does their own fundraising for charity, but as parents and part of the boosters, we were raising money through the football team all year. So we wanted to get something that would directly benefit. And for the folks that give me, crap all the time, my kid's graduated. He's all done. So it was really cool.
Turn your phone down, Bill.
My what?
Turn your phone. Getting folks saying they're hearing your phone. So yeah, so that's phenomenal. And
we're excited about that.
So
and
now,
the other really cool.
Now, real quick question: each team, I guess, would make a decision. That's a huddle thing, right? It's huddle technology, right?
So that's the last item. That's what I'm saying. There was a few things. The end zone camera is its own thing.
That's not huddle. That's just their own thing. Okay.
Right. So we're also each year we've committed X amount of dollars to the high school year round to get huddle for all the teams, because huddle prices have gone way up and it's blown right out of AD's budget. So as an organization, the boosters, we committed an X amount of dollars per year to basically cut Matt Curran's costs in half. That way none of the teams are scrambling. I don't want them before the season have to worry about raising money to pay for huddle to break down film when you got other schools that aren't worrying about that. So now the huddle camera that we just bought, this is pretty cool. This is inside the field house, and that is mounted above the scoreboard facing the benches. So now pretty much anything going on in the field house, from track to wrestling to basketball to the Waldy tournament, can have a live feed. So if I'm a grandparent and I'm in Florida and I haven't seen little Johnny, and my grandson calls me and says, "Mom, I'm in the Waldy tournament, the 7th grade championship," they're going to be able to tap into a YouTube or a feed and watch their kid play the wrestling meets.
So how does this is this the camera that follows the action, or is it zoned in on one spot? Or
no, if you look at the Twitter pictures, Matt showed that it's covering the entire field house. So it will follow the basketball game. It'll zoom right in on wrestling. If there's a track race, they can follow the kids around the track. It's pretty. Pretty sick. This is huddle.
Does each team have the option of whether they want to air that live, or does the school have the option as to whether they want to air that? How does that? I guess I'll talk to Matt about that. But that's since it's huddle, I would assume that huddle is going, as part of that, would take all of that footage and break it down.
It's going to be broken down instantly and handed to the coaches.
Awesome.
This is that's what I'm saying. By before we were raising $4,000 or $5,000 a year through concessions, and really the golf tournament has changed the game for us. For us to be able to raise over $20,000, we're going to really be able to.
And the boards, those boards were phenomenal that you were running over at Bada Bing. Yeah,
those are fun. So John and I have been talking. We're halfway through the winter, and we're gonna come up with another big board. It's hard, man. Each week doing stuff that.
I marveled, man. I mean, that level of commitment to you got to be there. The way that you're running, you had to be there twice a week.
Oh, it was brutal. And I think that's where the
pounds,
the reason for the double extra shirt.
Yeah, so we went back to a double XL.
I'm eating better. I'm taking a little break from the libations, and we got to get back down to better, healthier weight, especially for lacrosse season coming. If I think I'm going to be able to ref again this year, I gotta drop some of this extra baggage. But now John and Bada Bing and obviously Tanya, who's not there anymore, but John, the owner, Vargas, has been phenomenal. He's always been my main contact, but he's now doing the day-to-day stuff there, and they're great and still doing everything. So we need to get back on track and do a winter lotto board something. But John and I have been talking. We want to do something on the bigger scale, a little less work week to week.
Nice. So
just
did we hit three things or no? Is there a third?
So no, that was the third. The wrestling uniform, the huddle. I'm sorry, the end zone camera, which is just for use at the stadium. So end zone, so soccer, but for the fall season, the majority, like all of the money to pay for that camera came from the football fundraising. So this is one of those unique things where we did a music bingo fundraiser for softball. That money was dedicated to softball. We did a music bingo for fall football. That money was dedicated to football. But Tom Ryan was very clear. In the spring, another team wants to use it, sign it up, take care of it, and they can use it. And then the last is that space age huddle looking camera for the field house. and the technology director was real clear with Matt. As soon as that comes in, I'm on it. We're going to hang it up.
Yeah, Ed, that's going to be a new
toy.
toy.
And Ed is he's looking to change the game there as well. He's catching up to Matt, getting the technology, and Matt is keeping him busy with the TVs and the tweeting and just all the stuff that they're doing. So I just want to keep providing, and we want to make the stadium be a little bit more tech savvy.
Absolutely.
With that and the booster donation, I see in the future for the volunteers in the field house concession, Tim, is a nice TV, and we're going to be able to tap right into that huddle camera, and the folks that are volunteering back in the concession stand that can't see the game will be able to watch the game live.
That's phenomenal. So, just to have a closed circuit. Yeah.
When Pam and I finally walk away and just do the golf tournament, I want the concession stands to be fully stocked, and we want TVs so people can't, not they can't complain, so they're not missing out. And I know it's not the same, but when you're in there at halftime and you wrap things up and it's like third quarter's over, but you got the TV there for the fans to watch while they're buying some food, some popcorn, because why wouldn't you want popcorn at a basketball game?
Absolutely.
Like, keep popcorn going. It'd be nice for the volunteers to have a TV at both of the venues.
Some other news around Ranger Nation. Baseball's got a new coach, Cam Roper. Welcome to Ranger Nation, Mr. Roper. He has the fans of Three's Company. Yeah, I had a feeling. Yeah.
You had to say Mr. Roper, so
yeah, you know, and the short-lived spinoff. I believe there was a spinoff called The Ropers. Anyway, so Cam Roper joins Ranger Nation. He is the new baseball coach. He was the low pitching coach for both of the teams that had made it to the Super 8, excuse me. So he brings some heck of a pedigree with him. High recommendations all around the MVC. When this news broke, the tweets, I'm always interested to see how hires are met or who knows of who or who's going to speak well of who. Universal praise for Cam Roper, and listen, huge thank you to the work that Bill Blackwell did over his 4 seasons with the program. I think he's left the program in good hands and passing it over to Cam Roper. Hey, there's going to be a meet and greet, and for those interested in playing baseball this spring, get your first chance to meet the coach. And those just fans who are interested in meeting the coach, Tuesday the 21st, 6 p.m. in the high school cafeteria, get a chance to meet the new coach, Cam Roper. So very cool news there, Bill.
Yeah, I'm a pitcher in Methuen, and I'm thinking, at times Methuen struggles. Do I think about that school in Lawrence, or, do I think about Lowell Catholic or whatnot? And this guy comes in, I'm seriously going, and I'm thinking, this is the guy that's going to get me Division I. This is the guy that's going to get me to pitch in college. And if I'm a batter and I'm a hitter in Methuen, I'm thinking, this is my coach as well, because I'm going to be going against seriously improved Methuen pitchers in practice, and our team's going to change. And there's just a lot of positive. I know Bill did a great job.
Did we come up against Lowell in the first in the playoffs?
Yeah.
When was it? 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
Oh my God, I can't think of the pitcher's name. He was lights out, and he went. I think he went Division I.
Yep.
He was lights out, and that's that's a byproduct of the work put in with Cam Roper. So, very exciting times there. Another great addition to Ranger Nation family of coaches. Speaking of coaches, big shout out to Sarah O'Terry. She is the 2018-19 National Federation of High School Association She's the Massachusetts Girls Hockey Coach of the Year for the NFHS. So a great honor there for Sarah O'Terry.
So I'm really honest. When you review the tape, you said a lot of words there.
I know.
National, federal,
Federation of High School Coaches Associations, Incorporated.
We'll just say it's a pretty high prestigious
award. It had a very shiny piece of paper attached to it. It was very, it looked very officious. So congratulations, well earned. I mean, just listen. I mean, what she's done building that program, and I mean, listen, they're 5-1-3 this year. Again, well positioned for a playoff run. Have cut their teeth, as you said, against some really tough competition to start the year. Got the goal, found some goal scorers. Got the netminder who is just out of her mind once again. 3 shutouts in the last 4 games. The other game a tie. So congratulations to Sarah O'Terry, and congratulations to Kai. We mentioned her, the goalie Kaya Hollingsworth, Brenna Green, both selected to play in the Shriners game this year, and Kaya was the girls hockey MVP for the week in the MVC Sports Today selections. Who else? Olivia Barron was the girls hoops MVP for week 4 with MVC Sports Today.
And Olivia and Marin both were in the captain's corner of the Eagle Tribune, which is always nice.
Absolutely. So where do we? I'm trying to think. Where do we want to go with this?
So I got a little sidebar as you're thinking, Tim. Just a quick shout out. I know we talked about boosters and we got away with it, but Matt just texted me, and as someone who, my time is not as plentiful as it was in past, and things are changing. Just a quick shout out to the boys hockey team parent group that runs that. I haven't had the ability to get to a hockey game this year, and we have the concession stand right across in the rink. And I've stocked up downstairs, left them some petty cash, and each home game that texts me and lets me know I have a group of parents that are running the boosters concession through the hockey team, and I don't even have to show up. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not.
It's a beautiful thing.
Years past, Tim, I was stretched. Pam or I were running, setting it up, closing, and it just wasn't sustainable.
Yeah.
And now to have the parents of the team basically say, okay, there's food, there's drinks, there's product, and there's, a small little cash box. And now I get texts from Matt saying, okay, $108, $190, and it's pretty much running itself, which is how the boosters is going to be able to maintain this for a long term, is by the parents each season stepping up and realizing that it's your responsibility. And it makes it easier when every single team has had new uniforms or new equipment or things like that. Now they see that no matter what happens, you're still benefiting from it. So just wanted to throw that plug out there.
Absolutely. Let's go through some quick results here. Boys hoops. We mentioned Mitchell Crowe. Boys beat Greater Lawrence 65-53 on Sunday. Mitchell with 37 points. Tied the school record set by Michael Gorman with 9 3-pointers in the game. Just a phenomenal game for the Rangers. Then they turn around. They beat Chelmsford on Tuesday. They beat Chelmsford 75-59.
A big win right there.
Absolutely. Crowe with 25. Isaac Allen with 14. Kevin Garcia with 7 points. Carpio with 11 points.
Lucier with 11.
Yep, one of the new contributors. Lucier with 11. So all-around effort from the Rangers. Girls basketball, tough week, a couple of losses. Olivia Barron has had a couple of good games. Stephanie Tartagno has come on, 17 points against Lowell, 15 against Chelmsford. So she has worked her way into the MVC league leaders. Both Olivia, Stephanie Tartagno, both among the league leaders for the MVC. Boys
big wrestling.
Yeah.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Boys hockey, as we mentioned, a 6-4 win on the 11th against Newton South. Colby Scott with 3 goals and an assist. Aiden Hollingsworth, a goal. Josh Perkins, Jackson Patisse, both goals. AJ Harb, Josh Perkins with a goal. Ethan Sheena with an assist. So a 6-4 win. And then James Trussell with 30 saves. And then he also had 36 saves in the 6-3 loss to Beverly on the 13th. And then we mentioned earlier tonight a 1-1 tie against Cambridge. Yeah, did you get the goal scorer from the Twitter on the Cambridge game?
Yeah, I do. Give me 30 seconds.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the Rangers, they've got Wayland coming up on the 25th at Wayland. Next home game is the 26th, which is I believe that's a Sunday against Shawshene. That'll be an interesting Sunday game.
Junior Sanguidoch was the hockey score
for
Methuen.
Junior Sanguidoch? Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Right. Put MHS hockey up 1-0.
Interesting. As far as I can see, in terms of my tracking, that's his first goal. I don't know if that's his first varsity goal, but first goal of the season. So.
Yes, he goes by Philip as well. So Philip Sanguidoch, as well as his first varsity goal tonight. So nice. Huge Zach Alfonso got the hard hat tonight. They don't have how many saves he has, but he walked away with the hard hat. What's with the boys hockey team? Do they ever have a shortage of goalies? Every year they have a goalie committee of three kids, and there's Jake Becker has been a goalie, and he's playing other positions, and it's been a real competitive position. I mean, it's been like you can't get enough reps. They got so many goalies, So. They were writing about Zach Alfonso when he was a freshman, and now here he is 4 years later getting his shot. It just shows how hard it is in high school to play before your senior year, because you're going against 17, 18-year-old, experienced young men out there, and it makes it really hard to get yourself in the lineup. Absolutely. So, girls hockey, we've mentioned they're 5-1-3 on the season. He won a 2-2 tie against HPNA, which is Haverhill, Pentucket, North Andover, on the 11th, which was Saturday. Technically won it in overtime. Jessica Driscoll, the aforementioned, she had 2 goals in the game, including, I believe, the winner in overtime. Ryan Quinn with a goal and 2 assists. Brenna Green, Nicole Goss, and with an assist apiece, and Tori Shilley. No, yeah, I don't know. No, 2 assists. And then on the 15th. Last night, they beat Billerica at Chelmsford 3-0. Driscoll with 2 more goals. Ryan Quinn with a goal. Kyle Hollingsworth, as we mentioned, her third shutout in 4 games, 23 saves there. So they're on a roll as well. Methuen gymnastics, Bill, has been out of sight. I mean, we had Addie Ramos earlier in the winter season here, but they've been out of sight. They fell to another co-op, the Tingsboro Chelmsford Billerica Gymnastics. They fell 137-133 last night, their first loss of the year. But so that was deceiving, Tim, because on the box score it said Chelmsford. So I know, that's interesting that it's Chelmsford Billerica Tingsboro. They list HPNA as Haverhill. In the Tribune as well. I don't know. I'm not sure what their deal there is on that, but yeah. That's why I like what we have, the Red Rangers, baby. We're honest, and I think it's a cool tag, and here we are. But that's good to know that it was a tri team that we ended up losing to, because I was a little shocked by losing to just Chelmsford. Andrew Monair, second on the vault last night. Ramos
third on the vault, second on the bar, second on the beam, first in the all-around. She continues a phenomenal season. Molly Bealey finished third in the all-around last night. So their first loss of the season, but nothing to. I mean, the BCT team is 7-0. So with that win, so a very, very probably cream of the crop thus far in gymnastics, and they'll certainly meet again, and they'll get the chance at the MVC meet on February 6th as well.
Tim, that rolled off your lips. BCT. There was not even a pause. It was like you were practicing the name of that team.
Yeah, I've got so many initials and acronyms on
I
the
was being
spreadsheet.
serious. It flowed. I'm like, where the hell did that come from?
I think when I've seen what logo or the hats they do, I think they go TCB, probably just because that rolls off from TCBY. I don't know, but whatever it is, it's three schools. We mentioned earlier, but listen, Stanley Hansey's, we've mentioned him time and time again, but I mean, he's had a phenomenal indoor track season and had a great MVC duels meet, and then turned around this past weekend and won the 300 and the 400 at the first annual New England Invitational, which is a large gathering of schools. Has the makings of a new prestige meet, and Stanley just rocked it out, and is definitely among the leaders in both events. He's been rocking in the long jump as well. Xavier Matevier, I believe he finished 5th in the 2 mile. Let me backtrack here. No, I don't have it. I'm
pretty sure it was a 2 mile.
Yeah, but both guys just having phenomenal indoor track seasons.
I just remember back in the day when we were in that little studio and we were just starting out with Ranger Nation Radio, and we had Coach Kevin Elliott, and he mentioned Stanley and said, "Oh, you two, get ready because this kid is legit, and you're going to be talking about him in the fall, in the winter, and in the spring, and you're going to say his name so much that you're going to say Stanley Hansey more than you've ever imagined in your life." And boy, was Kevin correct.
Yeah, so huge congratulations to Stanley. So they're in the individual meet or the invitational meet part of the schedule now, and they'll finish things up, I believe in mid-February with the MVC individual championship or team championship, not just a dual championship. So they'll get one more shot around the MVC before they go to the New England and the state meets. But huge congrats to Stanley and the whole track program for a great winter thus far. Wrestling is now 8-2. They suffered their first 2 losses of the season. This past weekend, they fell to Andover 53-22, and they fell to Tewksbury 51-21. They rebounded on the 14th, beating North Andover 48-27. CJ Brown continues to be. No, I'm reading the wrong score. Excuse me. They lost to Tewksbury 44-30. They lost to Andover 42-40. Very close match against Andover. And then they turned around and beat Drake at 40-30. CJ Brown continues to be an absolute beast for the Rangers. He is undefeated at 170 throughout the season. Continues to just dominate. He is now ranked. The rankings came out today. He is ranked 9th in 170 in the state. And quite honestly, again, I've been tracking everything, and I believe they're shortchanging him just in terms of who he's beat. He's the highest ranked MVC kid, but in his weight class. But he's beaten a couple of the schools that they got above him. But still, ninth is a huge accomplishment in terms just being on those individual state rankings.
Tim, it was weird. I saw him leaving the high school the other day, and he had like a log on his shoulders, and he was yelling, "Shoot!" Do you know what that was all about?
I don't.
You don't remember the movie, the wrestling movie?
Wow.
How did you not get that
Wow,
reference?
yeah, it's late, man. It's 9:47 on a Thursday night.
He wants to wrestle Shoot.
Nice. Very nice. You got me on that one.
Which I never thought I would get you in any sort of trivia.
On any pop culture,
any
seriously.
Pop culture. Never mind trivia.
I never thought I'd see James Holthauser lose, and he lost to Ken Jennings on Jeopardy this week. So it's been a
right.
It's been a you got me. Michael Crowe also has been very solid. He is he's among the king of the ring leaders. Michael
as well
Crowe.
As Corey Bard, a heavyweight
Absolutely.
coming out of nowhere.
Absolutely,
love to see that.
Corey Bard has had a phenomenal season at heavyweight. He won against Andover even in the defeat. Listen, they are well positioned. They have they've been moving guys around.
Yep.
They've got a couple of mainstays. Obviously, they've got Ganji at 140. Ganji at 145, 138. DeMayo at 152. Brown at 170. Ciccatelli's been their mainstay at 145. He's had a rough season, but has been consistently been healthy for him and consistent point getter for him. Who else did you mount? I'm looking.
There's a little guy. Stoddard is one of their.
Yeah, Jack Stoddard at 106. So and they've been moving around a little in the higher weight classes. Dan Guzman's been pretty consistent for him.
He was out injured for a little while too, so he's coming back.
Yep. Who?
Yep. Was it Guzman that was hurt for a little bit at the beginning of the season?
Yep.
So.
Absolutely. So I think they're well positioned. Listen, does Coach James want to lose two mates during an MVC quad meet? No, obviously. I can't imagine. I can't imagine the next practice. I wouldn't. Yeah, I would not have wanted to be there. But they rebounded well against Drake. They've got they're at Marshfield.
That's a haul.
Yeah. I gotta look that up. That may be a typo. But next MVC is on the 22nd, home against Haverhill, and then they've got their invitational on the 25th. So a big run coming up here. Or no, wait a second. I think their invitational. Did I screw that up? Yeah, their invitational's on February 1st. Excuse me. They got a 6-school meet on the 25th. So wrestling. Like I said,
they're in the thick.
They're in the thick of it. Absolutely, well said.
On the better end of the thick too, so they're positioning themselves very well. There's definitely teams in the mix with them, but they're positioned to come out on top.
They're among 5 MVC schools in the MassWrestling.com rankings, the state rankings. They are 23rd. Central's 5th right now, Tewksbury 13th, Andover 14th, Chelmsford 19th. Again, Chelmsford beating Central. Andover's been up, Haverhill's been down. So this is definitely a year where it's definitely there for the take. And Central's very solid, but they are, as Chelmsford showed, they're beatable.
2, though, right?
What'd you say?
Is Central Division 2 for wrestling?
Yes.
That's a little strange.
Yes.
Seem to have a lot of quality wrestlers, and to be in Division 1 and all those other sports, it's always baffled me.
It is
weird.
If I could there's the little machinations of all the the nooks and crannies of how the MVC positions and the state positions teams within these divisions. It's baffling, but
great word.
Thank you. So we'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We will let you hear a great interview with one of the the star thus far for the Rangers boys hoops team, Mitchell Crowe. We'll do that right after the break here on Ranger Nation Radio, presented by AFC Urgent Care, the right care right now. Big shout out to the folks at AFC Urgent Care, Lisa Williams and her team over there. AFC Urgent Care, the right care right now. You'll never need an appointment. Got that persistent cough and cold, that cut that needs a few stitching, or need a sports physical and don't want to wait weeks to get into your primary doctor? AFC's streamlined approach helps you be seen quickly and feel better fast. In Methuen, in the Merrimack Street Medical Professionals Building, 380R Merrimack Street, in North Andover as well, in the Burton Grill Plaza, 8 to 8 Monday to Friday, 8 to 5 Saturday and Sunday. Go to afcurgentcare.com for more details. It's a dream to own your own business, and Val and Susan Davila made that a reality in February 2013. They started with just 2 insurance carriers, but now right-in-place insurance for Progressive, Safeco, Pilgrim, Plymouth Rock, and MAPFRE, just to name a few. Need auto insurance, renters, commercial, or home? I just asked Val and his crew to find me a better auto and home insurance deal, and he connected me with Plymouth Rock, where I'm saving more than 40% over my previous insurance. Now, your results may vary, but give Davila and DeFusco a try. They pride themselves on having lifelong roots in the Merrimack Valley. Put their experience to work for you. Visit them at 225 Broadway or call 978-241-7950 for a free quote, or check them out at daviladefusco.com. It's Tim Wood here on MVC. Back here on MVC, what am I saying? Ranger Nation Radio present. Yeah, I pulled up that interview by mistake. You can see that interview on MVC Sports today with Casey Burke, one of the lead gymnasts in the MVC. She's with North Andover. So Tim Wood, Bill Bryant here on Ranger Nation Radio, presented by AFC Urgent Care, the right care right now. Bill, so any final thoughts before we say goodbye to you for the evening?
Yeah, I have a couple of quick takes, Tim. Methuen Track the other day put out a nice tweet. Girls 600, Stephanie Saballo set a personal record with a 148.2 second, a second personal record from last week. Megan Bergeron, personal record with a 203.21, and their newcomer to the 600 squad, my very own Julia Bryant, with a 204.96 in her first ever running the 600. So Julia, a sophomore, first time ever doing track, and Tim, she's already said, I love lacrosse. I can't wait for the spring, but I'm doing cross country. So
she's
it's
caught the bug.
That track coaching, that the team, the kids, the whole atmosphere. It's just a bunch of great kids. Pam and I have been, getting out of work quick and sprinting down to another city or town for a 2-minute 600, and then you're all done.
Yep.
As a newcomer, she's hitting the JV meets. She's ran varsity a few times, so we're really pumped with Julia. And then my final take is tomorrow night. Nothing harder than having a long week of work. You get out, you're tired. Last thing you want to do is run around. But we've got Methuen boys varsity basketball at home against Haverhill. That's a nice, easy, get out of work, drive to Methuen, go to the field house, catch a good basketball game, buy a hot dog, buy a slice of pizza, and support the Rangers. Or you could really step up and go to Sal's, pay $35, get all-you-can-eat pizza in Lawrence, and support the Methuen High School Scholarship Fund, which is doing a music bingo tomorrow night. And that's where the lovely Pamela Bryant and I will be with some friends, the Anthonys and the Calevises, and obviously the administration across the schools and teachers and
you and
all
Glass
of the.
made up.
What?
You and Glass made up?
I wouldn't say made up, because to make up, you either got to shake hands or hug, and what's going to happen if that happens. So,
Glass.
And actually, Tim, one last thing. I, on occasion, drive Glass's son, Sammy Calevis, to school, and Sammy was just named the football captain for next year.
Nice, congrats.
And so he's strutting around like a big tough guy, because, going to be a junior, and he's a captain already, which is pretty cool, but tough kid. But his in-town freshman sophomore basketball team is 0-3. So I was pretty clear with Sammy. Sam, I'm the man. I don't lose when I'm coaching. I coached this year for a couple of games for the fourth grade team that I was doing, second and third, a third and fourth. I don't remember. I was 3-0, baby. We were crushing teams. No technicals, no issues, just. So I said, Sam, do me a favor. Fire your coach, Mr. Glass. I'll step up, and we're going to stop this losing garbage. They're 0-3. They just can't get over the. Tim, they're losing by 3, by 4, by 5. You know what I say? Anything that's a loss under 10 points
it's a coaching
is whose
issue.
fault is a coaching
Absolutely.
issue. It's plain and simple. So Sammy's got to fire his coach, and because he thought, oh, you can come help. And I said, no. You get the old man off the bench. He's out.
Because I was wondering, because, as folks will hear in the Mitchell Crowe interview, I did ask him during the interview,
I never coached the Crowe.
Were you ever coached by Bill Bryant? No. Because, we need to have the Bill Bryant coaching moment of the week. So I appreciate, you didn't let me down. We still got our Bill Bryant coaching moment of the weekend.
I'm going to start jumping in each year and coaching like 4 or 5 games just so I can have the.
You gotta still have the.
There's no way I'm gonna do it, so I am gonna get Mr. Glass fired halfway through the year. And actually, I tried to get the 3rd and 4th grade coach fired, just because I fell in love with this team and those kids. And no, you had to come back from Florida and take over. But no, seriously, tomorrow night, Methuen High School, Haverhill.
Big game. Methuen 5-5, Haverhill 6-4. So that is a very pivotal game in the MVC.
Huge game for the basketball team. And then obviously, at Sal's, Cheryl Horan and many others that run the Methuen High School.
Great cause.
Methuen High School Scholarship, great cause, and we'll be having the telethon down the road. But this is music bingo is new for them, and I believe there's already 150 some odd people going. So really excited, and they're going to be doing a lotto board, which is Cheryl is the one I stole the lotto board. Actually, she let me borrow the lotto board idea, and a big thanks to Cheryl because boy, she helped us raise a lot of money this fall.
Nice.
So
trying to make you proud, Coach. We're 5-0 with our fifth and sixth team, Coach. So far this season, the Tar Heels they have us listed as the targets on the schedule, and even it is correctable. I keep trying to tell them that document is a living document on their website. They could change it, and they still have it.
With you as the coach, there's a big old target on your back.
We're still listed as a target, so we're having some fun with that. But again, I love coaching this age. I love coaching youth sports, and we got a great group of parents, great group of kids, so having a lot of fun.
My challenge to you is to make the finals in the championship day at the field house, and you'll have the huddle camera videoing.
Yeah, right.
So
see there, nice. There's an extra bonus.
We'll be able to watch that game.
We made the semis last year. We got to make that one. We got to make that next jump up.
We're gonna get you on. We're gonna get you on YouTube, jumping up and down the sidelines, yelling at those 18-year-old refs.
You can see. Yeah, you can see how
position the camera.
Right. The wood cam. Nice. All right. So as I mentioned, we did an interview right after Methuen. What am I trying to say? When Methuen beat who'd they beat? They beat Chelmsford. We did an interview Wednesday afternoon with Mitchell Crowe, and we'll play that for you now. Bill, always a pleasure. We will talk.
Hey, the late night thing, I'm giddy, I'm tired. I actually kind of liked it.
Yeah, it was fun.
We might have to do some of these later shows because I'm a little bit more silly because I'm way overtired, and I know I yawned a couple times, and I apologize. But
rock on, brother. Rock on.
It was great talking Ranger Nation with you.
Abs right back at you. All right. And we will talk next week. Mitchell Crowe from Rangers Boys Hoops here on Ranger Nation Radio. Tim Wood here on Ranger Nation Radio and MVC Sports today. Very excited to have with us one of the stars of the Methuen Rangers Boys Hoops team, Mitchell Crowe. How are you today, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. Very excited to have you with us. Man, you've been on a roll lately. I know you're a shooter to start with, but you've been setting records lately.
Yeah.
How do you feel like it's coming together personally for you? I think you had 36 against Greater Lawrence.
37, yeah.
37. Don't want to short you. And then 25 last night against Chelmsford.
Yeah.
Nice. Another win. So 2 in a row now for Methuen. In terms of just how you feel your shooting game is coming together, you've been hitting them all year. I mean, you're up among. I know you're in the areas in the Eagle Tribune area. Haven't done the MVC tally yet, but you're hitting these threes. I mean, how do you feel like it's coming together for you this year?
I feel like it's coming great. I practice a lot on those and just practice in game. Just trying to get used to it and just getting a feel for my shot and stuff.
How? I mean, in terms of just that shooter's touch, when in a game like Greater Lawrence, when did you know that you were on that like get me the ball?
When I like my first shot, and then I just started letting him. I hit like 4 more in a row after that, and all my teammates and my guys just knew I was on, so they kept kind of feeding it to me.
I mean, is it? Do you get in a spot there where the ball just feels lighter, or it just feels like muscle memory's taking over, or like the ball's not getting heavier as the game goes on? Is it just? Explain a little bit about that zone.
I feel like it's more like muscle memory, just from practicing, just knowing my shot and how it goes and how it feels when I'm touching the seam of the ball and stuff, and when I let it go. I feel like it's more muscle memory and just how it goes in. I just know when it's going in or not.
You got a lot of muscle memory there built up in terms. You've been playing since 2nd, 3rd grade here. Tell me in terms of just how you got into hoops and when you first realized that, man, I'm liking this. Did you hear me there, Mitchell?
Yeah, I can hear.
Tell me just how you got into it in terms of when you started feeling it, like 2nd, 3rd grade, when you started feeling like this is something I want to keep playing.
Well, when I first started, I played like in town, just to get a feel for it, and then a couple of my friends, we started like, let's play AAU together. And right when I started playing AAU, I felt like I just got a feel for it, and I got more experience with the game. So I kind of just kept rolling with it and just kind of stuck with me from them.
And were you playing in town too, or did you just kind of just get right into AAU?
I played in town first, and then I went to AAU.
Yep. What's the AAU schedule like? Are you playing hoops pretty much year round?
Yeah, it's usually like practice on weekdays, and then weekends you got like three games or like a tournament, and just go to the finals and win.
Saturday, Sunday, or just Sunday?
Yeah, just Saturday and Sunday, and sometimes you have 2 games on one day.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, AAU wise, who are you playing for now?
Really, I don't have a team right now.
Okay, free agent. All right, but you've played up through the years for Mass Elite, Warriors, Eagles.
Yeah.
Nice. In terms of this team and how this team's coming together, how do you feel like this team is meshing at this point?
I feel like we're coming along great. I play with a great group of guys, and we love to play together, and we just know how each other play, and we're just trying to make plays for each other. So I feel like with that, we come together and we make good plays. We can get wins.
I mean, it really seemed like it seemed like you guys. I mean, obviously the Tewksbury win that was a huge win, but it seemed like you guys really and nobody likes to lose, but I mean, it seems like you guys really started to find a stride there in the holiday tournament.
Yeah, that was a great tournament for us.
And you were alternate, yeah.
Yep.
Very nice. Congratulations on that. In terms of who on this team do you kind of lean on in terms of just or who pushes you on this team to just keep fighting harder?
The coaches, they always kind of motivate me to get better, to find a rhythm sometimes. And some of my teammates, like Andrew Lucier, he's like one of my guys. We play together. And Isaac Allen, we kind of play together. They kind of push me to get my shots up, maybe find a way to start hitting early on.
Have you played with any of these guys like straight up through?
No, not really.
Yeah, it seemed like this group that was kind of just come together from a lot of different areas.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Even earlier in the season, it seemed like you still had some move ends, and I mean that's certainly gonna be a good thing in terms of depth, but it's got to be a trick just in terms of finding that chemistry.
Yeah.
It seems like you guys are. I mean, certainly in the win column, it seems like you guys are starting to find that. I mean, nobody wants to lose big to a Lawrence or a Lowell, but I mean, you guys have bounced back real nice since then. What do you take from those moments?
Well, against like Lawrence and Lowell, we kind of like find out what we're doing wrong, and we gotta limit those. So if we really like limit those what we did wrong against them, and we practice those in practice, we can find a way to be successful against the next game or the next team that we verse, and with like limiting the turnovers or making good plays for each other. So that's what we really learned from Lawrence and Lowell.
We're talking to Mitchell Crowe from the Methuen Boys Hoops team, the Rangers, here on Ranger Nation Radio and MVC Sports Today. Mitchell, you come from a very athletic family. You got 5 siblings, all who played sports, yeah, or are playing sports.
Mm-hmm.
We talked to Claudia earlier during the fall season. She certainly had some accolades come her way with her sports. I mean, I got to imagine all of you are collectively competitive, but you two being the closest in terms of age, are you guys especially competitive?
Yeah, really, we are competitive. But like when we play a sport, we always try to give our like 100% when we play, and just try to play as hard as we can.
Now, is she ever get on the basketball court with you? Is she that brazen? Is she like I can take you on?
No, but if she did, she would not win.
I like it. We were talking to Aiden Hollingsworth. There's that frenemy thing going on, brother. I mean, I got 3 older sisters, so I know the deal. I mean, there's that frenemy thing going on. Like, nobody touches my sister, but at the same time, when we're competing against each other, it's blood. It's out for blood with the blood, right?
Yeah.
Is that fair to say among the two of you?
Yeah.
In terms of just having that atmosphere at home, what was that like? Just growing up around sports and knowing that I mean, athletics were just part of the tradition of the family.
It was great. Knowing that my sisters, they all played field hockey and they all like did pretty well. It kind of like made me try to be as like good as them, or like try to like up my game, to get better. So I feel like that was like just a big part of me when I'm growing up, trying to just get better, trying to match what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, were you kind of fighting for your own attention there?
Kinda, a little bit.
A little bit, huh? I mean, you certainly earned it. I mean, and certainly earned the spotlight now. I mean, have you ever had a game like Greater Lawrence? Have you ever been in a zone like that, whether it be high school or in town or AAU?
I know freshman year when I played in the freshman team, we versed Lowell, and I had 36 that game. So I kind of had that same like little zone I was in, just playing well and hitting every shot.
Who are you? I mean, obviously competitive all amongst you, but who would you say you're most competitive within the team?
Probably me and Andrew Lucier. You know, we always compete at 1v1, and we try to one up each other, like in the shooting competition or something.
Nice.
Yeah.
How, in terms of just the shooting, what is, I coach youth hoops. I coach my son's team in 5th, 6th grade. I've been coaching for a few years. And we're always saying go to the high school games, go see any kind of basketball you can. Just look at the shooters, look at them rebounding after the shot. Look at all the little things they do in the game. I mean, what's the one thing you could say, just that the biggest lesson you've learned coming up through, that you could kind of I don't know, pass on to the youth, save them some time from making those mistakes?
Maybe trying to be coachable, listen to your coaches, because they always know what's right or wrong. So if you really are being coachable, you would know what to do in those big moments, or just knowing when you're in the game.
That's a hard thing, though, right? I mean, you're putting a lot of individual effort into this. You got a decent amount of people in your ear, kind of telling you, what's the right shot angle, what's the right way to do things. So it's it kind of takes a lot, kind of giving over. I won't say giving over, but being coachable and knowing that coach has your best interest at heart, right?
Mm-hmm.
What would you say is the best coaching moment you've had up through the years, just in terms of like the one thing that really kind of took you up another level?
Maybe just when my coaches just tell me something that I need to know, or something that I need to improve on, I really take it in and just focus on what I need to do. So any coaches that tell me anything, I really take it in. I really focus on what I need to do to get better, or just maybe get stronger or something.
When did you start to figure out the whole shot angle and just the whole muscle memory of the shot?
Maybe like freshman year, I was hitting a little bit, trying to find my shot. That's when I kind of really started trying to find my shot, figure it out, and just get it down for the next 4 years or the next 3 years I have.
And some of it's just growing into your body, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're trying to force it to the hoop when you're just trying to get it to the hoop when you're 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, and then you start growing into the frame a little bit, right?
Yeah.
We're talking to Mitchell Crowe here on Ranger Nation Radio, MVC Sports Today. In terms of what you see in the MVC, everybody says MVC competition so tough. I mean, just in what you've seen through AAU and now playing MVC, I mean, can you describe just like what the MVC grind is like?
The MVC is I feel like it's really tough. You got some really great players, like from Lowell and Lawrence, and it's really different from like AAU, because you just got a bunch of kids that just kind of sign up. These are the kids that really work hard and trying to improve their game, and the skill level is way higher than that. So you just really want to focus and just try to play at their high level and just match their intensity.
When did it become more than just kind of playground, school ground, just kind of sports center highlight stuff for you? And when did you start to realize, all right, it's the whole team, it's all the little things, and it's I want to keep doing this and maybe take this to another level?
Maybe when I first started varsity, when I first played, it was more like everyone just played together and was really great, And that's why I realized if we just play together, we come together, we can find a way to win games and just limit the turnovers and everything we need to work on.
Now you're running cross country. You also play volleyball in the spring.
Yeah.
And this was your first year with cross country, right?
Yeah.
How has that helped your endurance come later in these games?
Helped me a lot because we practice running and like just getting faster and faster, and we run for like almost like 10 miles like for some days. And when I'm on the court, it's not like I'm running 10 miles.
Yeah.
I'm used to it.
Lot of spurts, but not 10
Yeah.
miles.
Yeah.
I mean, Coach Aliette's no joke either, right? I mean, he's leading by example. He's like set a lot of those records. So, I mean, that's no joke. In terms of what you see for yourself with basketball, you're obviously making a name for yourself in the Valley, in the MVC, in the region. What do you see for yourself in terms of hoops? You want to take this to another level?
Yeah, I would like to take it to another level, maybe college.
Have you started thinking that route at all yet, or kind of narrowing it down, or you just kind of trying to focus on one thing at a time here?
I have thought of that, but I'm really trying to focus on right now. Just focus on what I got right now.
I know Claudia's setting that bar too, so I got to imagine a little competition there as well. In terms of like, how do you get away from that pressure, the competition, the constant? I mean, what do you do to just to have some downtime if there is any?
I kind of just relax and like when that moment comes, I kind of like relax and I focus on what I need to do and know when I need to get the ball or something.
And you said you go to Latitude to play hoops.
Yeah,
that's some of your downtime.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the deal. I mean, you know, shooters got to shoot. Shooters got to keep that rhythm, keep feeling it. So you know, you don't want to let days go by. But I mean, who was do you have any NBA heroes growing up through in terms of just kind of emulating the shot?
I really liked Larry Bird. You know, I felt like he was really tough. He always had that nice shot, and he was just clutch in the moment.
Wasn't just about the shot, right? I mean, with him, it's just the toughness and I mean, you know, some of my favorite highlights of him are the passes. I mean, his shot is money. I mean, it's just money. It's signature. It's all time. It's GOAT. But I mean, some of the passes were just absolutely like so insane. Just how did you see that on the court? Go ahead.
Well, the way I saw him play, it was like it kind of like inspired me. I kind of play like him a little bit, you know, because he's like such a good player, and everyone should kind of look at him.
He is. He's. I mean, it was a joy to be watching him growing up for sure. And among today's players, who would you say you look up to the most?
I like LeBron James. I feel like his will to win is great because he just loves to win, and he's just so intense when he plays.
Now, are you a Celtics fan at all?
Yeah, I like the Celtics.
So, I mean, what do you think of this Celtics team?
I feel like they're pretty good actually. Like Tatum and Jaylen Brown, they play good together.
Yeah, I'm real glad it's worked out the way it has. That they kept Tatum and Brown, and that they brought Kemba in. I mean, and you know, the unsung hero. I mean, you got unsung heroes on that Rangers team all over the place. I know, but I mean, Enes Kanter has been a beast for the Celtics.
Yeah.
I mean, he had like 22 points and 19 rebounds in 23 minutes the other night. I mean, that's. I mean, is there like a beast mode guy among the Rangers?
Like anyone on our team?
Yeah.
I feel like one of our seniors, Kevin Garcia. I feel like he's always beast. You know, he's always strong. He gets underneath the post sometimes. He makes some great M1s. He makes great plays for each other.
And he's not super tall, is he?
No, he's not tall at all.
He plays tall. He's not afraid to mix it up underneath.
Yeah.
Nice. In terms of folks that have helped you up through the years, any shout outs that you want to give to folks that have helped you through the years?
All my Methuen coaches, Mr. Elliott, Mr. Toomey, and Dave LaCroix.
Now, Bill Bryant didn't coach you, did he, at one point?
No.
All right, because Bill seems to have coached everyone. So, like, every show, it's like we have this Bill Bryant coaching moment. So I don't want to be surprised after this interview runs that Bill goes, oh yeah, no, I taught him everything he knows. So, in terms of your parents, what are your parents' names?
Leo and Kara.
Absolutely. Okay, we got to get that out there again. I mean, man, 6 kids. They deserve to get their names out there in more than one interview for sure. What kind of legacy do you feel like you want to leave with Methuen? I mean, you've been in Methuen straight up through. I mean, how important is that legacy to you?
I feel like it's very important. I really kind of want to leave a name myself after I leave high school. So I feel like it's very important to me.
In terms of, we always like to ask this, just in terms of like, how do you? I mean, you gotta have the grades to, it's got to be a balance, and the student athlete mix is so impressive, and it's why we do the show. Honestly, it's just to spotlight what you guys do and the work that you put in. I mean, what can you tell athletes coming up just in terms of finding that balance between getting the schoolwork done and putting in the work on the court or on the fields?
Is the one thing I say is just kind of do school first, because if you don't do school first, then there's no sports you can play. So you really want to focus on school first, then just find a way to get the little gym time in right after, just to work on your game.
All right, Mitchell Crowe, really appreciate the time. One last chance at any other shout-outs that you want to get out. I mean, we appreciate that you taking the time. So any other shout-outs you want to get out there before we let you go?
Just to my basketball coaches for through the years, just helping me and getting me better.
Absolutely. Well, listen, it's a pleasure to watch you do what you do, and like I said, coaching young kids. We want them to get to the field house and see what y'all are up to, and I mean, who knows, man? Maybe they're emulating you in a couple years here. Maybe there's the next Mitchell Crowe that just that sees one of these games and you've inspired them. So I appreciate the work that you put in for sure. And I know I speak for Ranger Nation and fans all across the valley in saying that.
Yep.
All right, again, huge thank you. That's Mitchell Crowe here on Ranger Nation Radio and MVC Sports Today. So big thank you to Mitchell Crowe and to Matt Curran for making that interview happen. Listen, we have hit the end of our time for this week. Again, huge thanks to Mitchell Crowe. Again, I very much recommend checking out the Jessica Driscoll and Lydia Pendleton interviews from the Red Rangers on you can catch those on Ranger Nation Radio and the MVC Sports Today Twitter feeds. For Bill Bryant, again, huge thanks to Matt Curran. As he mentioned, as we mentioned earlier, get out to the field house Friday. Huge game, Methuen and Haverhill. Huge pivotal game in the MVC, and you see some great basketball. See if Mitchell can keep this hot hand streak going. Already tied a school record this season, so we will see how the Rangers fare, and we'll be keeping track of all of the Ranger Nation news throughout the week, and we'll come back at you next week here on Ranger Nation Radio, presented by AFC Urgent Care, the right care right now. Have a great night, everybody.